Can we get into the Memphis corruption?
Memphis is horribly corrupt. This county commission just called for an audit of the Board of Education and its expenditures, which is necessary, but the county commission needs to be audited too, and the county mayor needs to be audited, and the city needs to be audited. And the question beggars itself as to who's going to get paid a whole lot of money from which there will be kickbacks to do the audit, because, of course, nobody is supposed to exist in Memphis, Tennessee that would be able to conduct an audit. So they want to get somebody from outside of Memphis who will take a lucrative commission to do the audit with appropriate kickbacks to the powers that be. That's Memphis. Actually, they need a new U.S. attorney here, one of the toughest Trump can manage to appoint, so he can put a lot of folk in jail. It's been 25 years since a bunch of them went to jail, and some more need to go to jail now. A shame.
It says the forensic audit is coming. Shelby County commissioners just unanimously passed a resolution to audit Memphis Shelby County schools, the most corrupt public schools in America.
And I just said the county commission needs to be audited. The city council needs to be audited. The city mayor needs to be audited. The county mayor needs to be audited because they're all stealing. So now they've got a scapegoat to detract attention from the rest of them, they think. And the problem is this is a very democratic city in an intensely Republican state, and the Republicans need to take advantage of the situation and send somebody down here from the state, take stuff over like they're supposed to be doing with the Board of Education that is so out of hand that the state is talking about they'll have to run it to straighten it out. The main problem with this Board of Education is under the guise of it costs too much for Memphis to maintain its own Board of Education. It surrendered its education charter to the county to save money, but that's an opportunity to steal. And the main way they're stealing is that contracts of $100,000 or less do not have to be formally okayed by the board. So all kinds of things can go on behind the scenes. $100,000 doesn't seem like much unless you've got 130 of them separate but put together, and that's $13 million, which is how this started. Some dumb bunny came up and said to the previous superintendent, "How dare you not approve the continuation of what I've gotten paid $13 million for to do, tutoring programs that nobody's seen." And then, let's see, J.B. Smiley, who's president of the city council, he put a threat in writing and sent it as a text to the superintendent of schools saying she'd be fired if she didn't go along with this, because these are important people and they're upset and they back him. So he put it in writing. That's a crime. It's also civilly actionable. So he's now saying she's a liar in spite of the fact that she filed his text transmissions as part of her lawsuit, which it looks like she's going to win. So we have somebody that got 130 plus of these $100,000 contracts for a total we know about so far of $13 million, off of which nothing's been delivered. So there's a whole lot of that going on. Memphis is so corrupt. They're trying to run Elon Musk out of here, who's trying to set up a new adventure of his artificial intelligence to build these supercomputers on an 85,000 square foot facility here, bring billions of dollars into the economy, and these clowns are upset that they're not getting bribed and they don't like his politics, so they want to run him out of Memphis. Real brilliant move. And they're trying to bring in this South Korean company, Blue Oval, and let it rename Mason, Tennessee. That's mostly black, but it's got 5,200 people. So they want the South Korean company known as Blue Oval. It's already hired 15,000 South Koreans to bring into Memphis to start work in less than 3 years and bring in 15,000 more. And when you put the families in, that's 120,000 people, and you'll need 150,000 others working at Mickey D's, Malco's, Walgreens, Walmart, and all of the rest, and the beauty salons, the barber shops, and doctor's offices and dentist offices, and they want to turn it over to a South Korean company and harbor some fugitives over here. So real wowee whoopee. The dumbest bunch of crazy Negroes I've ever seen. And the court clerk got herself arrested because she barged in across the police yellow line after two guys jumped a cop or two who were responding to a violence call, sent one of them, I think, to the hospital, and she was talking about, I'm court clerk. And they said, yeah, but you're not law enforcement and you don't have any oversight over our budget, so get back behind the line. She refused, got to calling them pigs or something like that. And
let me interject this real quick.
Is not possessed of high integrity.
The school system is not good, and specifically with children learning, they are below reading, they're below in math. Why is that? Is it because
it's anti-masculine? The Hispanic boys are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to learning. The black boys are next above them at the bottom of the barrel. The white boys are just above them. And when you get to the girls, they are stair-step because too many of the teachers are female. They're anti-masculine. I've seen it. And interestingly enough, young black girls are doing better than any other category in the public schools here because they're most akin with the school teachers. It's not a matter of white racism or supremacy. The overwhelming majority of the teachers are black. Problem is they started them 4 years ago, 5 years ago at $28,000 a year. You just need a 2-year degree. And I think those who had a 4-year degree started at $32,000 a year. So what kind of teacher are you going to get for that amount of money? That's poverty wages. Other things, they turned it over to a private entity known as Teach America that runs the teaching courses. They do the hiring, they do the assignment stuff, and the board has gotten out of that business, and like they throw money away. There's one silk stocking law firm that they hire to do consultant stuff with. They get paid $500 to $3,500 an hour, and they send their rookies there who are not long out of law school. Meanwhile, the board has a full-time attorney's office, board attorney, and an attorney staff. They sit in there, they get a salary, and then you get these rookies 3 to 5 years out of law school getting paid $500 an hour to $3,500 an hour, getting paid more than the people that have been doing this 15 years who work for the county, who are also lawyers. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life. It's called Teach America. And the person who runs the operation here has absolutely no educational background, and he's in his mid-30s.
I didn't realize how black Memphis was. And when I say black, I ain't talking about just with the residents. When you look at City Hall, when you look at education, when you look at police department, the courts, the judges, is controlled and run by 80% or more black.
Yeah, just like Atlanta.
And so where's the white supremacy? So is the white supremacy at the state?
No, the white supremacy.
And I mean, what I'm talking about, I mean, at the state house, you know.
No, it's the propaganda that the Democratic Party is putting out. Most of them are a bunch of ugly looking lesbians, and that's their business, but they don't like men, so they're anti-man. They support the BLM hoax, and they are singularly ignorant and incompetent. and they've got a good game, and the local mainstream media tries to help them out. So they don't do anything except cause chaos. And like I said, one of the worst offenders, her name's Tammy Sawyer. She got busted for crossing the police yellow line. She's the court clerk. She was county commissioner, and she and another scam commissioner, the same group that's calling for the audit, his name is Van Turner, they set up a private corporation called Green Space to run city parks. So they had two parks that had Johnny Reb statues in them. So Tammy Sawyer and Van Turner got a resolution passed to sell the parks to him with no bid. Now, these are beautiful parks. One of them is located right in the middle of this huge hospital complex, and he bought it for $1,000, no bid. The other one, that was Nathan Bedford's statue down there. And there's another one down by what they call the Metal Museum, right on a beautiful area of the bluff with the Mississippi flowing by. They bought the park for $1,000, no bid. Somebody's brother got paid a lot of money to take the statues down, and paid a lot of money every month for 3 years to store the statues. Allegedly, there was a scam wherein they defaulted on the less than $100 a month rent, allegedly, to somebody that ran a storage facility, so he would slap a lien on the statues. They got the lien released to them by paying the 3 months back rent, and the statues got sold for a very high price. So where did the money go, and what are they going to do with it? And there's a scam to take the Liberty Bowl and convert it from a football field to a soccer arena to the tune of $700 million. $500 million to right across the way from it, convert this old defunct auditorium for $500 million, $500 million, to an opera house. And the whole area is being upgraded to upscale, gentrified residential area devoted to apartments, apparently to bring in the Koreans when they start working at Blue Oval. So they're trying to get a piece of this action. So this is the person that runs the clerk's office that has the highest flow of cash through it in West Tennessee, if not the whole state. Just not fit for these people to be trusted. They have their hands dipped into so much. There's alleged collusion between the county mayor and the state comptroller that is misappropriated between 28 and 30 some million dollars so far. There's 200 million being dispersed to build 28 luxury units, and the city mayor allegedly has 3.7% of a couple of $100 million for developing a downtown hotel chain at taxpayers' expense. So these are the kind of things that go on in Memphis. And it's the same kind of clown show we've been looking at in Atlanta, in Fulton County, where a big mouth idiot, Fannie, got up there and had to testify, and the judges say, what are you doing? You don't need to. And she exposed everybody. And they had to go after getting rid of the superintendent because some favored person had ripped off $13 million, allegedly. And the superintendent just didn't approve of this person being refunded. And he got all in her face and apparently threatened her, according to her allegations in her lawsuit. And then the president of the city council, J.B. Smiley, he got up and threatened her. And then they violated the state's open meeting rules by having, literally, they bragged about 5 of the ones were women. They literally had a meeting in the ladies' room, and the state law specifically forbids that. It says any discussion has to be in an open session, and they admitted they did that. They put it in emails and threatened a woman with that. So Good gracious. What else you want to do? Write up a confession and pin it to your chest? Hey, look what I did.
So again, let me ask you, all this what you just said with all these different people, these different players that's in this whole web of corruption, they're all black.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of them, the last mayor, Strickland's white, but he pulled off an
one
interesting.
person.
But he pulled off an interesting stunt when he got elected the first time. He had some of the Negroes pay good money to pass out sample ballots endorsing him. Guess what they did? He took his black opponent's picture and put it over his name, and took his name and his picture and put it over his black opponent's name.
Mm. Is that legal? That's not legal. But black people, it's not a black thing. I think a lot of people will fall for that. But is that a legal thing to do?
Yeah, it's not legal. It's election fraud.
Did he get in trouble for that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did.
But the last DA was on his side, so he didn't.
Was the DA
And
black?
she was held.
Wait, was she black? Was the DA black?
No, she was white. Her name is Amy Wyrick, and she was held by multiple sources, including, to some extent, the Tennessee Supreme Court as the most corrupt elected DA in the United States. Let's see, Harvard's Law Review declared that. I think Stanford's, I did out in California. The Association of Elected District Attorneys in Tennessee declared her that way. And I know as a fact, she's got more appellate decisions naming her or declaring that she engaged in prosecutorial misconduct. She has more of those accusations against her personally by an appellate court than any other DA's office in the country has against them collectively over the same time period.
Right. All right. Well,
and then new DA, he has practically no experience in criminal law. And the DA before the last one, I was on the bench when he got sworn in 2.5 hours late because he'd never been to the criminal justice center and didn't know where it was. He had to stop at a phone booth and call to have some deputies come pick him up so they could take him to where the criminal justice center was so he could get sworn in as the DA.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's put a pin in that because we're going to talk more about corruption that's going on in Memphis, corruption that's going on in Atlanta, and then I want to start teetering to corruption going on in Ohio,
DC and New York and Los Angeles.
Right. I want to start catering the content now around corruption, and maybe when we go live on Monday, it'll be less about trending stuff because you know why I bring up the trending stuff for the clips, for the uploads. So, and you know what? Maybe I need to just curate the content just around corruption.